Hi, it's Make It Month 7 and today we're going to be looking at some more cold connections, specifically tab setting, which also gets called turtle setting, which I think is a much better name than tab setting. So it's a way of setting stones or elements without using heat, so cold connections. And the main thing about tab setting is you need to get the tabs in the right place, so the little bits that are going to grip onto your stone or whatever you're setting. And that depends on the point of contact on the shape that you're using. So for example, if you imagine with this little cabochon, this little flat stone, because it's oval, for me to grip it securely, I would have to put a tab above and below the widest point. So the widest point is here, so I'd need to have a little tab up here somewhere, a little tab down there, and then same on the other side. Because if I had tabs at the widest points, or maybe just at the sides and top and bottom, if this was to rotate slightly, it could just slide straight out. So placement's optimum. I'm going to show you two main ways of doing it. So one way is cutting tabs externally and one way is cutting them internally. So very similar to Make It Month 2 when we looked at saw piercing, where we were doing internal piercing and external sawing. So you can go back to February or Make It Month 2 if you want to have a look at those. So I'm going to start off by doing a little pair of earrings with some external cuts to create little tabs to hold these stones in place. So I've cut out, just for my shears, two basic teardrop shapes, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick them together with a little bit of masking tape, just so that I can cut them both, the tabs both at the same time. And then what I'm going to do is put my stone on and draw where I want the tabs to be. So I've stuck my two shapes together with some masking tape. I'm going to take my stone, my little cabochon, and put it in the middle of my shape in the place where I want the stone to end up. And then I'm going to draw around the outline. Just use a pen or a Sharpie, whatever you want to use to do this. There we go. Right, so now I want to draw in where I want these little tabs to go. So like I say, they need to go above and below the widest point, which is here. So I'm going to have one about here and some here. And try and make them fairly symmetrical, but obviously, as always, I'm just doing this by eye. You could be a lot more precise with this if you wanted. So I've drawn where I want my little tabs to go. So now I'm going to take my saw frame, I'm going to wax the blade, because I'm cutting through a double layer, and then I'm just going to sit and pierce out these tabs. So I've used my saw to cut through these little tabs that I've drawn up to the edge of the shape of the stone that I drew into the middle. So I can untape them now, take my two separate pieces apart. You can see, so they've got these little tabs formed and ready to go. So I'm just going to give it a bit of a sand on the edge. And I'm also going to pop a hole in the top of each one of these shapes, because I'm going to turn them into earrings. So I'm going to have a little hole where my ear wires can go. And I shall do that with my hole punch pliers, but you could use a drill, anything that you've been using up until this point to make holes with. My tabs are cut. I've got a little hole in the top of each one ready to turn them into earrings. I'm going to take some snipe-nosed or flat pliers, and I'm just going to try and do this sideways on so you can see. Grab the tab and fold it upwards, and do that on all of them, just so that I can do most of the bending without the stone being in place, getting in the way. Grab and bend. Grab and bend. Like so. I'm going to do the same with another one. There we go. So tabs bent upwards, ready to pop the stone in. There we go. So you can feel it's already quite a snug fit. So all I need to do is push these tabs tightly over the curve of that little stone so that it's not going to come out. To do this, if you've got a pusher, you could use that for stone setting, or a burnisher. I've got an old awl which has got sort of a smaller, nice flat surface that I can use to push. You could use the handle of a teaspoon to do this little bit. But it's just about pushing those tabs as tight as you can over the curve of that little stone, so it's going to grip it nice and snugly. And rub it over the curve as well. That's the tabs all rubbed over, nice and tight. No wiggling, no jiggling, no stones falling out. So they are ready for some ear wires. So I'm going to take some 0.8mm round wire. This is brass, so pretty much any wire would do, but it has to be about 0.8mm to be the right thickness to fit through your ears. I've cut about 10 centimeters roughly, and what I'm going to do is get some rounders pliers. I'm going to grip the middle of my wire with the rounders pliers, and I'm going to fold the wire in half. And then that bit that I've bent in the middle, I'm going to take my rounders pliers again, and I'm going to push it tight to the pliers to make a loop like that. Next I'm going to take my Sharpie, but it's anything that is about the right circumference for the amount of curve you want on your ear wire, the bit that's going to go through your ear. Doming punches are really good for doing this with, because then you get a selection of sizes. So I'm taking my wire, I'm holding it where the little loop is, and I'm going to bend it tight around the Sharpie until it touches the end of that loop. So it's bent all the way around the Sharpie until it touches there. Slide it off the Sharpie, and now I have that shape. You see it's starting to look like ear wires. So now I'm going to take my rounders pliers again, and I'm going to decide how long I want this bit to be. And then when I know how long I want it to be, I'm going to grab it with the skinny bit of my pliers. I'm just going to go tweak and tweak the wire so it's got a little bit of shape to it. And then I'm going to take my shears and snip this down so it's only a couple of mil. Now all that's left to do is to file these flat. So grab my file, and then give them a little sand as well, just to get rid of any burrs so they're not jaggy. And then that little loop where the two ear wires are joined together, I am just going to snip it apart. And now didn't throw them away, I have two matching ear wires. So I've done demos on these before, a lot more close up where you can see what's going on, so you can go back to my previous videos to have a look at those, or I might do one and put them in my profile. So I'm just going to hook these on, get my rounders pliers, just close up that little loop a little bit, and there is one dangly earring. So again, ear wire, hook my tab set earring on, close up that little loop, and there are two matching tab set cabochon earrings. So pop them in. There we go. Try and do a close up by the window. What do you think? Nice and secure, nice and light, super, super, super easy to make, no blowtorch, no heat required, all done with cold connections. Definitely worth having a go yourself. have a little bit of a play and let me know how you get on.